force it. Okay, cool. Yippee! Hello. Hi, Emmanuel. Hello, everyone that just came in. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome. Because today we are going to be talking about preparing for the inevitable GDC this upcoming March. Um, I guess this is redundant, but how many of you guys are going to GDC? Okay, this is the better question. Are you guys going the full week? Just going like a few days? How long do you guys plan on going to GDC for? Just Friday, full week? Okay. Nice, nice. Let's go. Awesome. Well, they changed a they changed a lot with the GDC format this year. I'm not sure how many. Oh, I guess this is also a good question. Like, how many of you here is it your first time going to GDC? Because they changed a lot this year in comparison to last year, and it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be for the better. A lot of people think it's going to be for the worse, but regardless, it should still be fun. I hope. If you don't know, they changed it to GDC Festival of Gaming, and for some, I guess there's a lot of people that are unhappy with their decision to do that. Um, but yeah, yeah, no, I'm like low key afraid of getting sick before the conference starts or during it, but I think it's unfortunately inevitable. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, if there's a time to get sick, it's right now. Just so it doesn't happen during GDC. Okay, anyways, let's get started, everyone. Preparing for GDC 101. A little overview of everything that we're going to be going over today. Um, it's the usual. Who am I? What do you bring to the conference? A little bit about San Francisco, maximizing your GDC experience, navigating the conference, as well as working towards expanding your network. One of the many reasons we're all probably going to GDC. So yeah, who am I? Hello everyone. I'm Mikyle. I'm one of the co-founders of Turtle Tech Art. But more importantly, I've been to GDC 3 times, 23, 24, and 2025. And I was born and raised in San Francisco. So does that mean I know San Francisco on the back of my hand? No, because I don't go outside a lot. But I'm inside making games. But I know a few things or two. So hopefully that for anyone that hasn't been to San Francisco before or has only been around a few times, hopefully this helps in navigating your way around. Um, I previously I was also a game dev intern at StemTales, Respawn, and incoming tools engineer intern at Blizzard. That part is a key part for later. And I'll mention why. The internships. Because that's why we're all going to GDC, right? We all want jobs, right? Good luck, guys. Okay, yeah. So, so what do I bring to the conference? I think this is just like a little nice little icebreaker. What are we bringing to the conference? Um, I guess when you're in your planning phase, it's sometimes easy to forget a lot of these things. So number one is comfy shoes because you're going to be walking all day and everywhere. So comfort is always nice to have. And also to check the weather app before you leave for San Francisco. Because if you don't know, the weather in San Francisco changes all the time. Sometimes at GDC, it's like 80 degrees, and sometimes it's 50 and foggy. So, you know, make sure you check the weather and bring some good clothes. Another one is a portable charger because there's not a lot of places to plug your phone in, and your phone's gonna probably die throughout the day. So it's important to have a charger. And last one is a small bag. How many of you your backs get tired from carrying your laptop everywhere all day or something like that? Probably a good amount of people. Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. I'm one of those people. I highly recommend not bringing a big backpack with your laptop to carry around the conference. Just because you're going around all day and it's gonna suck. Some people, I know some of you, some people might be demoing a game. So in that case, it's like, wow, I kind of need to bring my laptop. But if you're able to avoid it, I recommend small bag to carry around the conference. So that's like a little bit over of like a little simple overview of what you should bring to GDC in San Francisco. Um, and when it comes to career materials, I think that a lot of these are honestly not as necessary as you might think. Sure, it's like, we're going to a conference and this is where everyone in the industry is. And I will say, I brought 10 resumes to my first GDC and to like another conference and a different conference. And all those times, no one's checked my resume. So, I mean, sometimes there's resume reviews. Sometimes, they're out there. But for the most part, I like if you want to be safe, bring one, but don't bring like 15 expecting to show it to everyone. Next up is business cards. Actually, I would say business cards is a good thing. Just because everyone has them and everyone gives them out. I wouldn't say like it necessarily helps a lot because like I don't know, I've never really had anyone reach out to me from a business card. But a lot of people accepted the Turtle Tech Art business cards I gave out, and a lot of people joined the Turtle Tech Art server. So I think it depends what you're giving it to them for, right? But always a good thing to have. And so yeah, if you are thinking about coming to GDC with business cards, make sure you print those early. I recommend FedEx because they're low key pretty good quality, or they're decent enough quality, and they do same day shipping. Um, yeah, like I think I've printed my business cards like 2 days before flying out to a conference. So if you need them, that's where you get them. And next up is portfolio. I think that it's very unlikely that you show your portfolio to people unless you're doing like a portfolio review that you have set up with some kind of organization. Maybe at least in my experience, I don't really ever show my portfolio to anyone either. But I think it really depends on who you get into the conversation to. When you talked about printing out your resume, I think for the conference specifically, if you like want to show off your resume to anyone at all, it's always good to have it printed out just because it's like you're showing your phone, like their little tiny resume on your phone to someone. They're gonna be like, they can't really see it. It's just like a blocker, and it's like it's kind of cool if people, I think, if you have your resume and like a recruiter really wants to see it. But again, likeliness that will happen, probably unlikely. So I guess lesson of the career materials is that good to have them, but do not go into GDC expecting to be like resume, 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 and then suddenly magical job. Unfortunately, because there's a lot of people. It's a lot of people in this industry, and not everyone you meet there will be hiring. In fact, many of those people are looking for a job considering the state of the industry. So I think that's just something good to keep in mind and level your expectations. Cool. Now let's dive into the city of San Francisco. How many of you here have never been to San Francisco before? Oh, ooh, okay, a few people. Nice, nice. Well, welcome to the West Coast, my New Yorkers, and wherever else you guys might be from. Well, personally, I love San Francisco because I was born here, and let's dive right into it. So your main thing that you need to know is transportation because it's a big city, and depending on where you're staying, if you're not in walking distance from the conference center, you're gonna need to figure out how to get around, right? And I will say, our public transportation might not be good as New York, but it's still pretty easy to use and easy to navigate around. Like all you need to do is just pull out your phone or your debit card and just tap on the little machine that's on the Muni or the BART. That's what they're called. Those are like the two different types of vehicles that run through San Francisco. Well, that and Caltrain, but Muni and BART I think will be the main ones. But yeah, overall it's super easy because you can just pay with card tap. You don't need to get any external cards for paying. Um, This is like a little visualizer of the map. This red circle, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I hope so. But this little red circle near the like the center ish, that is where like Moscone Center is. Approximately. I didn't actually really check. I kind of just put the circle down, but it's like somewhere over there. Um, and as you can see, there's like so many different transit lines that drop you off like right next to the center. Um, so yeah, it's super easy. And yeah, Hope. It used to be the Clipper card, but as of like last year, you only need to pay with tap now, which is so convenient because oh wait, story time, guys. Last year at GDC, I was going to one of the after parties, and my Clipper card ran out of money, so I wasn't able to pay, and I wasn't able to add cash to my Clipper card in time. And then like the police got on, and then I got a ticket because they saw I didn't pay. But I didn't. It's not that I didn't mean to pay. It's that I just forgot. I didn't have money on my account. So when taking public transportation, I recommend paying because that's important, and you might get a ticket. It was like over $100, so I do not recommend. Next up is like how to navigate public transportation. Like I mentioned, it's super easy. Literally, all you need to do. This is an example of how to get from the conference, from Fisherman's Wharf to the conference center. Slap it into your map app of choice. Click the little transit icon, and then all of it's right there. Like it tells you where to walk to the stop. What type of bus or muni or BART is it? How much does it cost? What's the ETA? Like it has everything. All you do is hop on, pay, and you're chilling. And then like you'll see when you're closer to your stop. And yeah, it's really easy. So if any of you there are afraid, like there are elementary schoolers that ride the bus to elementary school. So if they can do it, you can do it. Um, but if you have concerns, just like honestly, everything's on your phone. Just make sure that if you're ever going underground, that you kind of memorized where your stop is because you'll run out of signal or you'll lose signal. And yeah, make sure that you don't get lost underground. Hope you said got a new card when you ran out of cash on it because the recharge wasn't working. Oh my gosh, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of issues with. I mean, I feel like there aren't, but I mean, I've also had a lot of personal issues with the Clipper card. So yeah, I think the tap with pay is like a huge boost of convenience. Okay, next up, we have food. I highly recommend for anyone staying near the conference center if you really need like just a quick and very cheap bite to eat in the morning. I recommend Trader Joe's. There's a Trader Joe's like circled right here, and this is the conference center. Like I hit it up pretty much like every morning of the conference. I get like my chocolate croissants or some snacks. Um, it's cheap, fast, ready to go. Um, for lunch and dinner, for you guys eating around the conference, the Metreon is like a food court. It's good for some quick bites. But I always would recommend eating during the off hours. Like, for example, if you're eating lunch from between 10 and 11, or like from 2 to 5 for dinner or late lunch. Just because like the lines get crazy long because everyone in the conference is trying to eat at the same time. I've waited like 45 minutes for a meal and it kind of sucks because it like, sucks up your conference time. So highly recommend getting on that uh, during those off hours. True Whole Foods. And there's also veggies at Trader Joe's, guys. And Trader Joe's is like a cheaper alternative to Whole Foods, but Whole Foods is also a good option. And if you want my personal recommendation, yes, eat your veggies. Um, I love Super Duper Burgers. It's like probably my favorite burger place of all time. Their garlic fries are really good, and they also have like options if you have dietary restrictions. Yeah, highly recommend. It's also like right next to the conference center. Super Duper Burgers. Okay, now let's dive into the real stuff about the conference, right? Let's talk about maximizing your experience at GDC. Um, and I think this is like a really important thing to consider and really reflect on before going to GDC because you don't want to leave the conference disappointed with how you went about it. So it's like good. I mean, like it's something that you kind of learn as you go, learn what what you want to prioritize. But I think it's something good to also consider now. And so that question you want to ask yourself is, what are you trying to get out of going to GDC, right? Is it expanding your network, going to some cool talks, maybe exploring a new city, maybe even figuring out if the games industry is right for you? You know, there's many different reasons why you might be going to GDC, and I think these are important to reflect. Um, Before we move on, Robert, you said, yeah, that's true. Some hotels/hostels come with free breakfasts, which is good, but also not a lot do, unfortunately. So if you get lucky, then that's awesome. But yeah, I want to do a quick little like story time about, I guess, my first full week at GDC, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to get out of it at the time. The I think like when I was a little sophomore in college, I was really trying to prioritize, like, networking. People are like, "Oh, you need to get into the industry with networking." So I really prioritized like going to the speed networking events and meeting as many people as I could. And like if now that I've done all of that, I like 100 are like I'm 100% confident in like that I'd never want to go to like speed networking things again, and I never want to focus on like the amount of people I'm meeting. And that's because like I just didn't end up with like a fulfilling experience. Just because like you've met all these people, but if you're never gonna talk to them again, then like it was kind of a waste of a conference experience, because they're just like one little LinkedIn contact on your phone, and you just never talk to them again. So I mentioned this because super important thing to consider, like why are you there, right? How do you plan to expand your network? Do you want those meaningful connections? Like I always recommend prioritizing quality over quantity. Like your network should be your friends. They shouldn't just be people that just randomly exist on your phone, on LinkedIn. Um, or if you're trying to learn something, or if you want to explore the city, right? Whatever you think would give you the most fulfilling experience. Just important to keep that in mind, and like use that to inform your decisions before and while you're at the conference. I think it's ultimately because like halfway through the conference, I a couple of my friends asked me if I wanted to go to Fisherman's Wharf, and I was really nervous about going because it was in the middle of the conference, and I was like, why? Like, I was nervous because I was like, I felt like I was wasting my time at the conference by going to hang out with my friends at the pier, even though I live in San Francisco and have been there a million times. But ultimately, like I do not regret going. I had like such a great time with those people. We ended up going over to one of their places and playing Super Smash Bros until the end of the night. And it's like a memory that I won't forget. And I still talk to like 3 out of those 4 people today. So like, I think really think about what's going to give you that full experience. Yeah. So now let's talk about actually navigating the conference. Like, what are the different types of events that you might encounter? Um, the list is actually longer than this. The GDC schedule has added a few things since I've made these slides. Um, but the more like the list is kind of, it goes between talks, roundtables, workshops, and sponsored sessions. Those are like probably some of the main events you'll see at GDC. So some of the other ones that were just recently added are like the speed networking events, also called GDC Encounters, I think, on their schedule. Um, I recommend do not go to the speed networking officiated by GDC if your goal is to network. I think that really contributes to like the just meeting a million people, but then it not really going anywhere. Yeah, I recommend avoiding those. Yeah, let's go through the different types of events besides that. There's the talks. I feel like if you know it, there's a lot on YouTube, so you might be really familiar with this. They're just more specialized, they're more learning oriented, and they're across a bunch of different topics such as funding, production, working abroad, shaders, etc. Like, if you want to learn, this is where you go. Next up is roundtables, and these are, in my opinion, the best of the events to go to at GDC, because they're really like intimate discussions. Because if you, as you can see, like in this picture, like everyone is kind of sitting together in a room and like facing each other. Anyone can ask or answer questions, and it's great because a lot of them are also specialized. There are tech art roundtables, VFX roundtables, production roundtables, like you name it. Like, you'll meet people in the industry that are in that area, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. And what's great is that many people stay after to chat. And one of the people that I met after chatting is in this call. Um, Call yourself out if you will, but they're in this call, and I met them after talking to them on one of these roundtables. So I highly recommend going to these. Um, Next up is, if you find on the schedule, you'll see workshops. A lot of these are more hands-on learning. The main ones that I didn't get to look through the entire schedule, but I saw that there was like a game design one, a production one. I went to a game design one um, during one of my first years at GDC. I think one thing to note is that if you're considering about going to these, is that they take up like the entire day, or some of them do. Some of them are like half a day. But I think I was in there from like 10 to like 4 p.m. It was really cool. It was a hands-on experience where you get mentorship from like industry professionals, and you get to do like a little activity and collaborate with other people. Thank you, Anastasia. Yeah, Anastasia is the person I met at the round table. Um, like, I highly recommend it if you've never done it before, but just do keep in mind that it does take up your entire day, and I kind of regret going because it took super long, and the people I was working with were like not that great, to be honest. But that is like a use that at your as your own discretion. Would you bring your laptop to a workshop? Probably not. I think a lot of the workshops are designed to be analog. So, like, the game design workshop I did was purely analog. I don't know about the other ones. There in the past there's been like a narrative design one, and there's the production one, but I'm not entirely like, I assume those would also be analog. Yeah. Unfortunately, no, not any tech art ones, but yeah, I know they hate the tech artists. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe we start the next tech art workshop, right guys? Right guys? Yeah. But like, I think if you're really trying to get the most out of the like tech art stuff, the talks are the way to go. Yeah. And then lastly, our sponsored sessions. These are the talks that say sponsored speakers. As you can see, I have circled in red here. Please note that these are companies paying to present their topics about their company generally, right? Be warned, a lot of these might feel like a product advertisement, because I've been to like an Adobe one, and it was just like, use our product. This is what you can do inside the product. And if you're interested, that's cool too. But I will note that a lot of sponsored sessions end up on YouTube afterwards, anyways. So it's like, if there's another talk at that time that you would much rather go to, or a different event, um, yeah, I would recommend going to that instead. But at the bottom, if you see this talk right here, this one's presented by Matt Otzele. Support Matt. Matt is awesome tech art dev relations at Epic that is also in the server and is also helping out all the time. So go to Matt's talks, everyone. Um, yeah. Lastly, one of the other part. Oh, we have a question from Phoebe. From your experience, is GDC mainly geared towards large studios and companies like Lightbox, or is it also common to see a lot of indie developers? Good question. I think what's awesome about GDC is that it's catered towards both. I guess here, I don't want to pull up the whole schedule, but I'll go off of memory right now. But so there's the Indie Games Festival. that happens every Wednesday, and that's like a huge highlight event. So there's a lot of like indies, um, and there's like a lot of external indie parties that also happen. A lot of the companies that do talks, sometimes there's also indies. I think there's one from Balatro this year. um in the past, there's a bunch of other ones. I didn't really get to, I can't name a lot off the top of my head, but there's also like a GDC pitch day where you can essentially pitch your game idea. So I think that's geared towards a lot of indies. There's also like indie funding talks. So, and there's also a whole pass dedicated to just indies. So to answer your question, there are a lot of indie developers because I think they do make a large portion of the industry. But that being said, GDC is a lot more expensive this year, um, unless you're a student, because they still provide the student pass, still for a lot. But I think for the indies, it has become a lot more inaccessible. So I think it's we'll have to see how the crowd changes this year. Hope that answered your question. Yippee! Yes, of course. Yeah. Next up is the expo hall. This is more so like your big gallery. As you can see here in the top right picture, it's like a bunch of stands and booths, where companies pay and to advertise their stuff. Some people show off their games, some schools show off their programs. Um, this is like a great thing to experience. Oh, it's also not called the expo anymore. Apparently, they renamed it to the festival hall. Um, I don't know. I think the expo is cooler, but it's okay. I think a lot of the key things to know if you plan on going to the expo hall, because there's a lot going on, right? There's like new technologies, these universities. I highly recommend going to the section that holds all the IGF games, so all those indie games that are nominated in the festival. Uh, for all you SJSU people here, I know there's a few. Poco will probably be there, and I'm pretty sure their team's going to be a lot of the developers for those games are there as well. And next, the other exhibit is Alt Control. If you guys don't know what Alt Control is, it's essentially like there's a whole gallery of games dedicated to get to like games that use unique controllers, like not like the standard like keyboard or like controller, but like sometimes it'll be like a sword, or like in this case it's a plunger for like some kind of toilet paper game. Last year there was like a huge dog butt that was your controller. There was also a shower. So there's a lot of people that get creative with their the way they make their games. It's really fun. Highly recommend. Great source of inspiration. Yeah, that's the expo slash festival hall. Um, and so we just talked a lot about navigating like in the conference, like everything official with having a pass. Oh, we have another question. My bad. Oh my gosh. Hope. It's because the expo didn't open until Wednesday, so you didn't even get you left before it opened. I don't know when it's opening this year. Probably also Wednesday. Felly, would you say GDC is a place where you could potentially find a publisher slash funding for an indie game? You have a solid game pitch, and people have told you to bring it to GDC. I think it's definitely possible, but I think you want to do a lot of work before you get to the conference in order to set yourself up. Like I think like if you know, like reach out to people at these publishers, like ask them if they're going to GDC and if they'd be open for a chat. I mentioned earlier there's GDC Pitch Day. They just released it recently. I don't know if it closed already, but there's like a form out there where you get the opportunity to pitch in front of a huge crowd at GDC. It's like like an event that happens every year. I just recommend looking GDC Pitch Day on Google, and I hope there is a form out there. And if you don't find it, reach out to me later, and I can try and help you find it because I saw it like somewhere like within the last week. Um, and it's great because you'll also get feedback on your pitch and stuff. Awesome. Good luck if you end up pitching. So yeah, outside of the conference, also something to note are the GDC after parties. Let me send this link in the chat so you guys can browse while I talk about this. Basically, these are all of the unofficial GDC events. So these happen outside of the conference. They usually do not require a pass. They usually, and they're like a great, this is like where all the networking happens. Like, honestly, no one, if you're like at the conference, like everyone's probably like scared to talk to people and like sitting down like awkwardly in the corner of the building. Um, so yeah, I highly recommend going to these after parties. The notable ones that I recommend going to are pretty much all I like is on Sunday, Day of the Devs. It's like a huge like exhibit of a bunch of indie games that like applied. I'm not really sure how the process works, to be honest, but there's a lot of great indie games to play. There's a lot of great people that you can meet there. Highly recommend. There's also Courage XL, which I haven't been to because it's supposedly 21 plus. So I first time going this year. But the real the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of indies that showcase there too, and I think I've heard that it's like a great event to get like if you want to like get your project showcased and probably also if you want to meet other like indie devs and stuff. Um, Another indie event, if you guys want to go to one, is the indie arcade party that happens at DNA Lounge. I will say it does get kind of crazy. Last year I went. Oh, it was the party I was going to when I got fined. When I got a ticket on the Muni on the bus. Um, there's like it's like a huge lounge. There's people showcasing on the floor. There's some like talks from sponsors on the upper floors, and it's just like a huge party. Um, uh, like stay safe. Like I think that's the most important thing if you're going to an after party. I think it's always good to have a couple people that like can watch your back just in case. But I think for the most part, it's pretty safe. I think like the indie arcade party is the one that probably gets the most hectic, but there's also a lot of chill ones. Like Day of the Devs is well, it gets pretty crowded, but it's still like a pretty tame crowd. It's pretty chill. I've never been to Courage XL, like I said, but also still good. Um, like the thing is that this isn't the final list. There are still going to be stuff added to the GDC party list as it keeps going. Oh yeah, my one piece of advice, I forgot to add this to my slides, is like I'll just pull up the sheet so I can screen share it. Can you guys see this? Okay, cool. So there's this huge list, all in chronological order. I highly recommend like RSVPing as soon as possible because the week of a lot of them are going to be sold out due to capacity reasons. So like I just recommend like filling like just fill this out as soon as you get the chance. I've already gone through them and reserved the ones I've wanted to go to. So yeah, I recommend. Otherwise, you might have nothing to do at night while you're at GDC. All right. Yeah, highly recommend because that's where all the magic happens at GDC. So yeah, I wanted to give a moment to talk about my personal approach, just because, or like how I like to approach the conference now that I've like been to all of these different types of events. Like I mentioned earlier, I always hit the roundtables, and I always allocate like an hour after just to so I can talk to people because that's where like I really met so many like amazing, huge tech artists in the industry, and that will apply for whatever discipline you go to. They're always down to chat, and I highly recommend. That's where like I met. They're all so cool. Um, the talks, not gonna lie, I only went to like half a talk last year. Um, but that was just because I was like focused on getting all the Turtle Tech Art stuff running. But there's still a lot of great talks. I met like Henry, who's one of our other co-founders for Turtle Tech Art. I met him because he was sitting behind me in like a Tech Art talk, and now he's here helping me and Enlisette run Turtle Tech Art. So yeah, talks are pretty awesome. Talk to the people around you, like while you're waiting for it to start. Um, they're cool. Yeah, let's see what else. Workshops. Yeah, if you want to do the workshops, like if you've never done and just want to try it out, go for it. But not really my thing personally. And yeah, I would avoid sponsor sessions, avoid speed networking. I think those are the big ones. And and also make some time to really explore the expo hall, just because there's so many cool stuff and so many cool people to talk to. Um, it's awesome. Okay, yeah. I guess I already covered all that, but that's like a good recap of everything we just went over. Okay, now for the last section of the presentation, expanding your network, because I guess this is why we're all at GDC, perhaps, right? Like I mentioned earlier, when you're trying to approach expanding your network, I think it's important to really think about quality over quantity, the different ways you can network. And I also have a very special secret ingredient. Um, we have a question in the chat. Do you think it's worth to take time to explore SF outside of the conference? You see, this is why I talked about maximizing your experience, because it's like it's ultimately just like will exploring SF give you the most fulfilling experience? Like, are there people to, like, are you going with people to explore with? You know what I mean? Like, would you really like? Is your priority like spending those time with the people and exploring SF, or do you think that you'll get the most out of going to the conference? In my opinion, like if you're asking the question at all, I think it's like it could be a good thing to consider because it's a lot of fun. SF is awesome. A lot of people have other opinions, but that's just because low key this like the downtown is where like a lot of stuff happens. But there's a lot of beautiful parts of the city. Um, so yeah, that I did that. Do you think that's like a good enough answer, or because it's kind of like a it really depends on the person. You know what I mean? Or is that a satisfying enough answer for you? Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever gives you guys the most fulfilling experience um is really what to consider. Okay, yeah. So back to expanding your network, quality over quantity, ways to network, and I have like little secret ingredient to add to the end that I think some people here are already aware of, but yeah. Okay, yeah. So expand quality over quantity. Like I mentioned before, um if you're trying to expand your network, really focus on like really getting to know these people like outside of like the work setting, right? Because your network should in my opinion be your friends. Like prioritize those genuine relationships, because like these people that you meet, they will like I mean it's like the goal is to be friends for a long time. And I think that is what ultimately like being their friend is what will help you like stay within the industry. um I feel like this is kind of self-explanatory. um just because yeah, but I do think like I got caught up in that trap where it was like I was like trying to meet a lot of people, um and not really prioritizing like just making the genuine relationship. Yeah, essentially make them your friend is the big tip. um the other thing I wanted to bring up is the ways to network, because there's so many different ways you can network at GDC, and I think if you're going in for the first time, it can be a little bit difficult to navigate. Um, One of the ways I recommend, which is like low key the goaded way, if you really want to like meet someone specific. Um, so like, how many of you out there, is there like someone you look up to in the industry? Whether it's an artist, maybe there's like a director. Um, are they going to be at GDC? The GDC app opens on Wednesday, and you will be able to. There will be like a roster, and you can search up like literally the name of anyone going to the conference. So you can double check that way, or you can reach out to people. Like I recommend always checking, because like I highly recommend reaching out. I think in my first GDC, I was super scared. I reached out to like two people, and then none of them responded until like the last day of the conference. One of the guys reached out to me. He was a procedural tools programmer at Epic Games, and I got to sit down and chat with him. I showed him my portfolio. So I did show someone my portfolio. In fact, and he like looked at it and said it was cool. I don't think it was that cool, to be honest. It was a pretty bad portfolio. I was still really on, but like it's a great way to like meet people and like have and like a great way to build one-on-one connections and be more intentional about who you're meeting, right? Yeah, so you all of you guys have people that you look up to. Maybe they're at the conference. So yeah, I highly recommend it. And if you don't know how, literally just pull up LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great way to do it. There's Yeah, I guess it's really just LinkedIn unless you happen to have their Discord or something. Let's see. You said there's 30 artists from TGC that you looked up to. Said you'll be at GDC. The last time you messaged him, he didn't reply. No. Well, I think it's good. It's important to know that not everyone's also going to respond. Like, sometimes they just don't reach out, like respond on certain platforms, or maybe they're just busy. But like, it's always worth trying again. Like, if you double message that guy, then like he'll see that you're dedicated and, and really want to meet him. So, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to always reach out. Like, you're not doing any harm, right? So reach out to people, guys. I highly recommend, even if it's just like three people, because you never know what kind of difference it'll make at GDC. Yippee! Awesome. Okay. Next up is expanding. Oh yeah, expanding your network. That's what we've been talking about. Um, is like just like also other ways to really talk to people at the conference. You can maybe ask people to sit at their table. If you're walking throughout the conference, there's like a lot of tables that are just around, and a lot of people that like are waiting for a different talk or like just wanted like a break. They like usually go sit at these tables, and especially in the morning, I highly recommend just like sitting down with these people, asking them to chat. Like like everyone is at the conference to talk to people, right? Well, not everyone. I will clarify. I can name at least one person in this call that does not go to GDC to talk to people. Sorry for calling you out. But um yeah, most people are. And so it's like if you want to talk to people, just go up to them. I'm sorry, I was say you called yourself out. I didn't even name you. Like I've met people like in the food court at the Metreon. I've met people in the conference, just talking to them. So I highly recommend going. And the last one again is just attend these after parties because that's where all the people are at, and everyone's at those places to have fun, right? Um, yeah. Um, okay. I know what you might be thinking. Socializing is scary, but like I mentioned earlier, like 90% of people are like very likely to be down to chat, and this is like my ballpark estimate. It might be more, but that's like already 9 out of 10 people that you talk to will be down to talk. So just do it. I know it's scary. Um, I like if you need a trick, if you're with a friend, I highly recommend doing like this little game where I did this with one of my old friends when he went to like a graphics conference in Colorado. Basically, what we did is we alternated going up to people and initiating the conversation, and it made it easier because we were both dependent on each other to start that conversation, and it isn't just like a bunch of back to back socializing, because like even if you're extroverted, this stuff is exhausting. So if you're introverted, like you can imagine how it might be. But what's important is that you know your limits and you take care of yourself throughout the conference. Yeah, socializing. I will note that though, for expanding your network, I probably should have mentioned this in the what to bring section, but in case I know some people here have mainly only been to Lightbox before, and usually at like the more art oriented events, a lot of people exchange Instagrams. I will say, GDC is very LinkedIn heavy. Like people are always like, "Can I get your LinkedIn?" Like, so some people have their QR code as their lock screen. Some people just have it ready to pull up. So yeah, I recommend polishing your LinkedIn if that's something like, yeah, before you go to the conference, just polish your LinkedIn just in case, because you want it to be, as professionally presentable as possible. Okay, yeah. So that's expanding your network. But now let's go to like my little secret ingredient. So in, in case wait, let me go get it. Be right back. In case you're not aware, but I feel like most people in this server are aware, I wear a turtle hat. when I go to GDC or anything games related. I also have a new one that I'll be repping this year. It's my Squirtle hat. Um, Essentially my secret ingredient that I use for networking is like finding your branding and taking it to the extreme. Just because for multiple reasons, right? Benefit number one, it becomes easy to remember. It's like new people I meet, I'm giving them like the idea of a turtle to associate with me. And you just become more memorable, and like, when it comes to your network, that's like kind of the key factor, right? Do people remember you? And another one is that it's also a great conversation starter. And here's why. I'll talk about like a little Mikyle lore drop. So when I was going through the expo hall on Friday, the last day of the conference, during my first full week at GDC, I was kind of lost. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like I wasn't like I felt like I didn't have a lot of meaningful conversations. And obviously I was a little sophomore in college trying to get like try to find out how to break into the industry. I was just walking around and I got stopped by this guy. He was like, dude, nice turtle hat. And I was like, thanks. And then I sat there and talked with him and this other person that he was with. And this is important because that other person he was with later became my boss later that summer. She like was the CEO of a startup, and she hired me as a game dev intern for that summer. And that was like my first little experience in the industry. And that's literally all because of this turtle hat. So, you literally never know what might happen at GDC. And also in this picture on the bottom left here, there's like a little group of people that I'm with. They're wearing their pink cowboy hats. The person on the left, this is my super cool. Like, after GDC later that summer, she invited me to do a game jam, and I did that game jam. And I love the team that I worked with. They were all super cool. But one of the people on that game jam team later gave me referral this year for Blizzard 2 years later. So, like, literally, the network is real, guys, and it goes a long way. So, like, I guess the just the point I'm trying to say here is that like the network, yeah, essentially the network goes a long way, and there's like ways you can be strategic to focus to really expand your network, right? How can you get people to remember you? It doesn't have to be like a turtle hat. I have a lot of other options here. If you have other ways to start these conversations, like merch in different, areas of your life that people might recognize, like, there's like a little, you might have like a game pin, like a Sims pin. You might have I don't know, a Fortnite t-shirt. I don't know what kind of, like, maybe if you're wearing a Fortnite t-shirt, you'll meet a guy that works at Epic Games, right? And he'll talk about it with you, right? Um, See, there we go. We're all thinking now. So it doesn't have to be that explicit like mine, right? It could just be in your shirts or jackets, like whatever. Mine is just a little out there. So, but yeah, that's like my number one networking tip if I had to give one. Um, yeah, I recommend. I get, yeah. Over the last like, wow, thank you guys here for all of you that have been here for like over like 50 minutes. But over the last 50 minutes or so, we talked a lot about, what are you supposed to bring to the conference? How do you navigate through the conference? How do you navigate San Francisco? Expanding your network, and, and really doing your best to maximize your experience so that you're living it to the fullest. Um, Thanks, guys. That's pretty much it for this is all based mainly on like my experiences slash what I've seen other people do at the conference. I know not everyone's experience is obviously the same, but I hope you are all able to get something out of it. Yippee! Go GDC, of course. And if you guys have any like last questions, I'm happy to stay back and answer more questions. Yippee! And also, if you're all here in this call, I imagine you're going to GDC, so we should all hang out. And yeah, marketing, like marketing yourself, or what do you mean, Emmanuel? Of course, guys, of course, of course. There will be a Turtle Tech Art meetup. Oh yeah. To answer that question, we so the reason we haven't announced it yet is because we were originally going to partner with GDC and have the Tech Art meetup inside the conference center. But like literally yesterday, I emailed them and I was like, you know what? Take us off that list. I don't want to be partnered with GDC for this for it. It's mainly because I think it's just easier for us if we have more control over when the event's going to be, and because it's only accessible if you have a GDC pass, and we want to make sure it's accessible for everyone. And Loki was fun in the park last time. So I'll probably announce it next week or something. How many EGD people are going? Yeah, there will be a lot. Um, so yeah, see, like they've already waved at you in the chat. So there's a lot of people. If you want to meet them, they'll be around. There's also going to be an EGD meetup. I think Kira's still waiting for it to be scheduled. Yes, guys, come to the Turtle Tech Art meetup. That's where all the homies go. Yippee! Oh no way! You got it from EGD. That's awesome. That's super cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Am I bringing? Yeah, we'll play Smash. I don't know if I'll bring my Switch yet, but we'll figure that out. I'm glad you're going to be able to make it. Yeah, I hope for anyone, if any of you here are going via the conference associate, I hope it's not, during the time. I'll make sure to announce it pretty early though, so that people, I guess, hear about it in time and stuff. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Oh yeah, like if I were to say like what am I trying to what would be my most fulfilling experience at GDC? It's honestly just to hang out with everyone and have fun. Like I don't really care about like going to all these talks and stuff. Okay, so the goals are to do fun stuff for Turtle Tech Art and to hang out with all of the awesome people, which include the people in this call and all the other people I've met. Um, yeah, so those are my goals. Yeah, Felly, we met in New York, like that for like a few minutes, like leaving. Yeah, no, this is fun. Welcome to San Francisco, everyone. Would you say the people in GDC are more strict, professional, or casual? I think that question can be answered by this. Um, it's very casual. Because I think everyone's a nerd. I literally wear a turtle hat at a conference. This probably would not slide at any other conference, like professional. Like everyone's probably wearing suits, and that's like kind of gross. So it's a good thing we're in the games industry, guys. Oh yeah, we did make that game. I did not enjoy doing a 1 day game jam. Yeah, flipping ripped. That's a throwback. I forgot that game existed. Um, but yes. Hello, Alec. It's okay if you join late. We have recording if you want to see it. Glad you are eating though. Did I miss anything else? Anyone else have any questions that I missed? Okay, cool. I think we're chilling. Oh, wait, Alec, you asked a question. If you're starting to build out your tech art portfolio, what do you recommend focusing on at GDC? That is a good question. Um, okay, so yes, I will also share the slides. I'll share it right after this, or I guess I can just share it now. Oh, freak. Oops, my email just got doxed. Well, it's okay. It's like public information. Don't spam me with emails, guys. Yeah, you'll literally be able to see because I'm the owner of this slideshow. Um, yeah, feel free to scroll through that in the meantime if you guys would like. But what I was gonna say was that if you're looking to like build out your learn more about tech art still, like I highly recommend just immersing yourself in how much knowledge there is at GDC. Well, because like going to the talks, you most likely won't understand anything, but they're like great sources of inspiration. And talk to as many tech artists as possible. And like I would ask them like I don't know, just ask them about what kind of work they do. Because like tech art, like I think becoming good at tech art is literally just like the knowledge you have. Like it doesn't really matter like what you've done, but because like your knowledge is like your tool set. And as a tech artist, you're trying to solve problems. And it's like if you don't have that knowledge, then it's impossible to solve problems. But if you have that knowledge, then like the world of tech art like expands, even if you like haven't done that much tech art. So yeah, talk to tech artists, which so tech art roundtables and my tech art meetup and um Tech Art Talks. All good places to meet tech artists and learn about more tech art things. But like yeah, it's like obviously still good to meet other people at the conference and get that kind of stuff outside of it out of it. Ah yes, the socializing shoes. Catch me not socializing at the conference, guys. I will be probably hiding in the corner. We'll see. I also need to buy a microphone because at the tech art meetup, I like really lost my voice. It was really bad. I lost my voice before the meetup even happened. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Break corner. Critique for our portfolio. We don't have a specific channel for it, but like high key, just feel free to drop it in whichever you feel might fit the best. Like career might be a good one, or like if there's a specific tech art specialization that you have, like that's also probably good. You can just throw it wherever if you want critique on it. Would you guys be interested in like an informal like resume slash portfolio review? Because like I'm not like a recruiter and I don't think any of the people in this call are, but like if that's something you guys want, just so we can get more eyes on the portfolios, just let me know. The biggest tech art secret is that tech art positions aren't always called that. This is true, guys. I'm like if you guys saw like my little intro earlier, I'm not doing tech art this summer. I'm doing tools engineering. But it's like if you look at my responsibilities, I'm basically I'm creating tools and like handling the pipeline for integrating art assets into the engine for the game. So it's basically just a tools and pipeline role for tech art. So it's true. Not everything is labeled tech art. You just have to kind of just always look at the job descriptions. Dip into all kind of disciplines. Yeah, I had to do that. Yeah, when I was first navigating tech art, it's hard. Awesome. Okay, in that case, when would this be? I don't know. I'm not really sure yet. I'll probably ideate on it and try to have it before the conference starts. Yes. Honestly, it might just be like that. It might just be like a community week for critique each other. I don't know. I'll have to figure out the logistics behind that, but I appreciate you offering to help. Appreciate it, guys. Um, reviews. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I've been like holding off on that just because I'm like low key, I don't got the time to look for industry professionals to help, but if there's people interested, well, I'll definitely see what we can do. I mean, there's definitely people in the server that might be able to help and that might be willing. So I'll talk to some people and see where the heads are at. True, technical directors, the TDs, it's literally just the same as tech art. The TDs are just in the animation industry. So yeah, it's also like just tech art. Yeah, there's so many names for tech art out there that you'll find. Yippee. Um, of course, everyone. I hope you all learned a lot. This is true, what Tess said. Look at the job title. Um, yes, that is basically it, everyone. Since you already hit 8 o'clock, I'll probably end it here because I gotta go. I got some stuff to do. But I do want to thank you guys all for coming. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate you guys interacting and everything. This was so much fun. And I'm excited to see you all at GDC. Like, if you guys want to meet up, reach out to me, or maybe I'll be reaching out to some of y'all. Um, it's just fun, right? We go to GDC to hang out with all the friends, and that's what it'll be. True, Turtle Tech Art dinner. It could be good. I was also thinking Turtle Tech Art climbing session, but like I don't know how many people like climbing. Um, we'll have to figure it out. Dang it. Okay. I'll figure it out, guys. I'll Okay, wait, yeah, let's go. Okay, okay. Yeah, in San Francisco. Not outdoors, indoors. Just because I think that's better for safety reasons. Um, okay, wait, this is exciting, guys. I'm excited to start planning things now. Um, yes. Thank you everyone for coming. I will start planning new events now that I have all of this information. I'm excited now. Thank you guys. Okay, good chatting, everyone. Um, off you go. Goodbye. Thank you all for coming. You all are awesome. And you're gonna do amazing at this GDC. Bye bye, guys.